What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? My name is Nathan. I am one half of the Heel Brothers, and welcome into the North Carolina Virginia Tech preview and prediction show. Before we get into anything, in honor of the Diamond Heels' first opening day game against Wagner, I had to wear the baseball jersey. Really looking forward to this baseball season. Planning to bring you guys some baseball content pretty soon. I'm pretty new to the baseball scene, especially when it comes to North Carolina. So it's going to be a little bit more Allen's expertise, but we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a pretty good season for the Heels, we believe. But this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Dean Dome, we host the Virginia Tech Hokies. This is a matchup that has not happened since the calendar year 2022. Back in the 2022-2023 season, North Carolina Virginia Tech only face each other once, and that was in December of 2022. A lot of things have changed since that time. One of the most notable things being a highly touted North Carolina recruit out of the state of Virginia is the reigning leading all-time scorer in Virginia basketball, high school basketball history, Tyler Nickel, has transferred over to Virginia Tech. A bunch of people were looking forward to having him on the team last year, and for the little bit of limited minutes that he got, he did show some big-time bright spots. But in the offseason, he did hit the transfer portal, and he went back home to the state of Virginia and is signed up to be with the Virginia Tech Hokies. This is going to be a big game to watch that man right there. Tyler Nickel isn't having the greatest season in the world, but for what he's been asked to do, he's still a threat, averaging about 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, a field goal percentage of 45.5%. He's definitely doing a great job over there at Virginia Tech. And this is going to be a big game because, you know, there's always this sort of stigma that's been running around North Carolina. Other teams, you see this as well. But it seems like when, a player comes back to face their former team, especially against Carolina, man, a lot of times they like to put on a show. So everybody's going to be watching that matchup right there. But this is a matchup right here. North Carolina is highly favored as. They open up as an 11.5-point favorite over the Virginia Tech Hokies. Carolina comes in ranked 7th in the nation, 19-6 overall, 11-3 in the conference, coming off that away loss at Syracuse just the other night. And Virginia Tech comes into this game 14-10 on the year, 6-7 in conference play. And this is a team that was on a 3-game skid against Duke, Miami, and Notre Dame before finally getting their last home game against Florida State, 83-75. The Virginia teams always give North Carolina trouble. Don't know what it is. When it comes to Virginia, the University of Virginia, they like to defend like crazy. We saw a game this year where Virginia won 60-38 against Miami, and they've always give Carolina trouble. But also Virginia Tech does, and they've turned themselves into a big-time three-point shooting team over the course of the last few years. This is a team that won the ACC just a couple of seasons ago. Looking at it coming into the game, their leading scorer is Sean Padula at 15.8 points a game. Lynn Kidd coming in as their leading rebounder, 6.8 rebounds a game. And then again, Sean Padula, their assist leader at 4.5 assists per game. For North Carolina, R.J. Davis comes in as your points leader at 21.4 points per game. Armando Bacot leading the rebound category with 10.2. And Elliot Cadeau, your assist leader at 3.9 assists per game. Kind of breaking down the stats between the two teams, Virginia Tech comes in scoring about 73.3 points per game. A field goal percentage of about 46.3. They're shooting the ball very well. About 32.5 rebounds a game, 15 assists, 2 blocks, and 5 steals. North Carolina coming in, averaging a whopping 82 points per game, 44% from the field, 41 rebounds, 14 assists, 4 blocks, and 6 steals. To me, this is a game that North Carolina needs to reestablish dominance within the ACC. This is a team that got out to an extremely hot start, started out 10-0 in the ACC, and ever since then has been having some issues ever since that Georgia Tech game. He had a good game against Duke, but has struggled ever since with loss to Clemson, near loss to Miami, and again, the loss that we just suffered on the road at Syracuse. So North Carolina's coming in, I believe, with a chip on their shoulder. This is a team that has to get the ball moving on offense. They've got to understand that Virginia Tech is going to see what Georgia Tech did, what Clemson did, what Syracuse did with playing the 3-2 zone, and they have got to figure out ways to break up that zone and make those defenses work hard. In my opinion, the defenses haven't had to work hard against Carolina over the past few games. Now, Duke didn't go for it really all that much, and don't know why they didn't, but Carolina, it was a team early in the season that didn't struggle with the zone, but now they are. And I see a lot of, and I feel like I'm a broken record when I say this, but I keep seeing the same set all the time. 4 guys on the perimeter, Armando Bacot down deep, and they're just passing the ball around the perimeter. He did see a little bit of a wrinkle that was thrown in there different points of the game, especially with Elliott Cadeau and Harris Ningham. They were featured more in that, but that just putting a player right there on the free throw line, just getting him right in there. And that allows to pass the ball in and then let him draw some attention, and either he can kick out, or if he draws no attention, go back up. And we saw some issues with that. Armando Bacot had some big issues with that, especially with energy and just looking to be aggressive. And I'm looking for him to come out against Virginia Tech and show a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity. I think this is an Armando Bacot that, said the ACC ran through him, and he's kind of had to eat those words ever since. So if anything, I hope to see an enraged Armando Bacot, a excited and hungry Elliott Cadeau, and RJ Davis and Harris Ningham. And also Cormac Ryan found his groove a little bit in this last game against Syracuse. So maybe he can continue to build on that, and this team can kind of get over this mid-season slump and push to get further and build this team even better. That way, when tournament time comes, they're really ticking on all cylinders, because you don't want to have already played your best basketball in the early part of the season. And I think that's a little bit of a worry amongst the Carolina faithful right now, is that this team has done that, and maybe they're starting to fall off. So I personally expect North Carolina to come out here and Virginia Tech to give them a run. You may even see this may be kind of a, I guess you say, a high scoring game. Maybe we do get into the high 70s, maybe the low 80s. Maybe we get into that part. But I think North Carolina has to come out here and really establish dominance against Virginia Tech with a double-digit win over this team, that's unfortunately just not been that good of a team this year. And they let one slip already to Syracuse, but they can't let another one slip against Virginia Tech. And North Carolina's schedule from here really, in my opinion, it kind of gets a little bit tougher. A little bit. You got Virginia Tech, then you've got Virginia at Virginia, Miami again. You know how that game's been for you. NC State, that one's an easy one. Notre Dame probably going to be an easy one. Then you got Duke in Cameron to end out the season. Not too long to go. So Carolina needs to get over these midseason problems and push forward. But considering, what we saw at the last game, I really do expect the energy to be high. It is going to be good to be home. I'm telling you, home cooking does a lot of things for a team. And they've been on the road so much this year that I think it's going to be good for them to come back, be at home, and I think go out there and potentially get a big win. My key factors for the game, I want to see Armando Bacot. I want him to be furious. I want him to be, energetic. I want him, leading, taunting, doing his thing. I'm curious to see the defense, because you have to expect Tyler Nichols going to get a showing here. And Tyler's put up, he's had a couple of 20-point games this season. So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes and tries to put out maybe some frustrations out on Carolina. So, and I want to see a better, defense on the perimeter. I feel like we were kind of lax like that, or relaxed on defense on the perimeter this past game against Syracuse. Get tighter. Teams are probably going to want to put Armando Bacot in the pick and roll, the middle ball screen or high pick and roll. They're going to want to put him there. So I'm curious to see how North Carolina comes out defensively. because after the Duke game, or excuse me, after the Georgia Tech game, they were holding teams under 70, and they have not done that once since the Duke game, or since the Georgia Tech game. So I'm curious to see how this game comes out. I would love to see Elliot Cadeau continue to, progress on the offensive side of the ball. He's really impressed me. This is going to be a team that's going to kind of get after him a little bit and see how he does also defensively. I see a lot of teams picking on him, so I'm curious to see, how he's going to mature defensively throughout the season. And off the bench, personally, I still want to see some more Jalen Washington. I want to see how this guy does. I'm hoping we get to see some more run with him. He had some pretty good, a pretty good game against Virginia last year when Armando Bacot was out, and I'm curious to see how he does against this Virginia Tech team. Really looking forward to this game. I'm actually going to be doing it live on the Pro Sports Fan app. I've talked about this a few times. If you are not a member, be sure and go onto the Pro Sports Fan app on the App Store, and then go download that and join the UNC basketball fans chat room. I'm in there, and I'm going to be doing a live stream all the way throughout the game. And then, of course, I'll see you guys on the post game right after. What do you think about North Carolina's matchup against Virginia Tech? How is it going to go? Are you expecting a big show out from Tyler Nickel? Are you expecting a big turnout from the fans? And also, how big can North Carolina potentially win this game? Is North Carolina in serious trouble against Virginia Tech on Saturday? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. We have absolutely enjoyed doing this. The basketball season is, the regular season is coming to a close. We're getting ready to get into the ACC tournament, the March Madness tournament. That's going to be so much fun, and really looking forward to seeing how this team or how this whole season turns out for Carolina. Kind of got some ideas for the March Madness tournament. Going to talk down, see what he thinks about it. And we got some cool things in the works for you guys. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all later. And always, go Eagles.
You don't want none!